Hey everybody, this is Greg with Medical Muscle. And in this video, I'm gonna go over the things you can do to make studying less painful. It's gonna undeniably be painful at any point through your medical school career. The only time it's not painful is if you have some previous background information on the topic that's being covered, if you know it. But any other time you're studying, especially it's hard material. Hard material is not fun to go through and trying to force yourself to learn it. The only time where it gets easy, studying gets easy, is when you actually know the material and you've studied it. And it's a good feeling. It's an awesome feeling once you're in a test and you know the answer just immediately. It's a great feeling. But to get to that point and be at that level, which is what you want to be when you're going to be an A student, is you got to put in the hard work. So what I'm going to do is give you some tips on how to make studying not so painful. Okay, so first and foremost, make your environment so boring that the only enjoyable thing you have in your life is studying. So what does that mean? So for me, that's deleting all social media off my phone. Any app that I want to click on that's enjoyable, okay? Deleting it off, deleting it. Or, obviously you can have an app that blocks your ability to use it, any of those things. My computer has one of those too as well. So I have no access to anything that I can kind of zone out on. News, anything interesting. So the only interesting thing that I can do is studying. That's it. And I'm going to tell you that saved my life through medical school. I didn't do it as hard in the beginning, and I think that's why I would study so long throughout the day. I got way more efficient when I did this. And I'm going to tell you the top scorers that I know did the same thing. You have to. Now, on top of that, it's first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, I'd start studying. So I would wake up, say it's on say it's on a weekend. First thing in the morning. I did this a lot in step 2 study, a lot. You wake up, you click the focus apps. First thing you wake up, so there's no time to scroll. And you just open your computer and start doing you old questions or whatever kind of questions, some kind of studying. And force yourself to do like an hour, 1 hour straight. And then I would start my day. I'd usually do one block and then start my day. It's such a good feeling. You feel so accomplished, okay? Because I'm not even giving myself the ability to just start myself on the wrong foot. It takes a lot of self-control to be able to do that, but I don't know if there's something about doing it first thing in the morning. Now, when I was in the basic science terms, what I loved to do was do Anki at night. I would always do Anki at night. I always felt like it bored me so much that it would make me pass out and fall asleep. So I just do as many questions as I could until I just pass out. It was just a way for me to fall asleep. Okay? Back before I was in medical school, I would just read to fall asleep. But Anki is a great way to fall asleep. So I did that. That was very helpful. All right. Now, other tricks on how to optimize your ability to study is to create, I don't know how to call this, but you got to create like a prison system. What do I mean by that? Some environmental situation where you're not really allowed to do, you're kind of restricted on what you can do anyway, and you're kind of put in a position where you have to just sit and wait. Like, say if you're at the DMV, or if you're in a plane, or waiting for a plane, or, waiting for your oil change, things like that, okay? You're forced to have to wait anyway. Perfect time to do some studying. Why not? You're already having to wait that time. And for me, I feel like I'm cheating the system because I'm doing what I should be doing anyway. So I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm having to wait anyway, do some studying. And I really like plane flights. I think those are the best. I've always had the best focus, right? Especially when they don't have free Wi-Fi for some reason. So like what I would do is download lecture slides or like UWorld questions before I would get on the plane, so I didn't need Wi-Fi for it. And then I get on the plane, I have no Wi-Fi, you know, if I'm on one of those things. All I could do is just do questions, okay? That's it. Or do lecture material and read and study. Or Anki, that's all I could do. And I would get so much work done. Same kind of situation for like, if I had to do, my oil change or something. I don't log into the company's Wi-Fi and I have all this stuff downloaded. This is the only thing I can do, okay? Now, I think there's a huge benefit in studying in public areas, okay? So like, say if you're on the island studying in those lecture halls or whatever, those study halls, I think it's good because then people can see if you're studying or not. And I think here's a big hint. Have your computer in a position where anybody walking by would be able to see what you're doing. And it kind of keeps you honest. Put you in a position where you're forced to do some work. You could be at a library, you could be at a coffee shop. Don't be hidden in a corner. Be exposed. I want your computer exposed so that you have some accountability. I don't know what it is, but it kind of makes you feel smarter when you're sitting there working, and it just feels good that you have this accountability of strangers. You don't know these people. Or maybe you do, maybe they're friends. You want to look like you're working, right? It's a good thing. All right, now, use video resources. Make studying easier by doing something that's passive. I know it's not the best form of studying. We all know that, but passive studying is really easy and it's more enjoyable. I gotta say, sitting and reading is painful. Doing questions sometimes is very painful, but videos are a little softer. Things like Sketchy, they're cartoons. They can make the whole process a little bit easier. I found that Boards and Beyond and Pathoma were way interesting, and he would explain it in a way that would make the content more enjoyable. So that's something that I did. That's a big, huge hint. Obviously not the best for retention because it's passive, but that's what you can do. All right, these two more require a partner. Okay. Now I don't think that you should be. I want to clarify this. I do not want you guys studying with like first pass. You should not be around anybody else. You shouldn't. First pass, even second pass, even third pass. You shouldn't be around other students studying. That is not a good situation because the material is going to be hard. You're still struggling with it, and it's so easy to want to just stop and talk to people. I did that. So I would have to, kind of seclude myself a little bit, kind of in eyesight so people could see that I'm working, but a far enough away where I can't just stop and talk, okay? But this is where using study partners really becomes a powerful tool. So doing questions, evening questions, I did that all through term 2 through 5. I would meet up with someone and we would do 20 questions. That was the goal, at least 1 hour. And it's just a way to just knock questions out together. And I think what was good about that is at that point, we had a few passes through the material. So we should actually know how to answer this stuff. Because we both studied it individually and it's a little bit of a competition. So, you don't want to look like the dummy, and, sometimes someone can explain something that you didn't pick up on. Maybe you missed the question or they knew the answer and you didn't understand what was their thinking. So that's always interesting. This is the second way to utilize study partners is at the end of the block before you have the exam, or when I was getting ready for step 2 toward the end of my step 2 dedicated study, is get together with somebody else. So say if this is like the basic science years, get together with like 1 or 2 more people. You don't need a huge group. Don't do that. Break off and find someone that's very smart and also very motivated to stay focused through the study, the study block. this little block of studying that you guys are gonna do. And what you guys are gonna do is each person has the lecture slides up on their computer, okay? The person that's being quizzed closes theirs, and the other person just starts rattling off and just testing them, just quizzing them on just random material that they see on the lecture slides. And go through, and ideally each day you guys would go through like maybe 3 or 4 of these until like, maybe over 4 days you've covered the entire block, okay? That's the idea. And so you switch off. So like they do lecture 1, you do lecture 2. They do lecture 3, you do lecture 4. You just go through it, okay? Go through every single lecture. I started doing that with one of my friends, and I think it was totally helpful. For step 2 material, you guys both, come up with things that you want to explore in more detail. We would both pull up First Aid, and we would go through that entire topic and discuss it in detail, and we'd kind of shoot off different things, okay? I think there's a lot of power to that because it keeps the person motivated. This is for review. This is not first pass stuff. This is reviewing material that you already know, and someone else can kind of quiz you now, okay? And there's something about it that keeps you motivated, because then at this point it's kind of easier. It's more fun because you should already know this material, and if you don't, then this shows you that you've been skipping stuff. Maybe subconsciously you're not focusing on certain things, and people can point out those weak points for you. It's very helpful. You guys, studying is going to be hard. I'm telling you, it's always going to be tough. Even the best students do not enjoy. No one enjoys studying, but it's something you have to do every single day, regardless of how you feel. And the best students who dominate can push themselves through that crappiness, okay? And you have to create that ability to like being uncomfortable. That's the only way around it, okay? I wish there was more ways to do it. I wish we could just put a chip and send a signal and boom, you know everything about medicine, but that's not how it works yet. All right, guys, so best of luck on all your studying. Keep kicking butt.